to another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be looking at SEO, and this is going to be a little crash course based entirely on the materials that you sent us.
Oh, wow.
And the presentation was put together by David Herrera, who is a telecommunications engineer, master's in internet business.
Nice.
He's he worked for places like Indra, Vodafone, so he's got a good background.
Yeah, it sounds like
in the online world.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of try to extract some of the key elements of SEO.
Okay.
And everything from like its history and importance to some practical tips and tools.
Mm.
And of course, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, which is AI, specifically Google's Gemini, which is really
it's kind of a game changer.
Yeah, it's changing the whole landscape.
Right.
But before we sort of get ahead of ourselves and get too futuristic, I think it's important to define like what SEO is and why it's important,
right?
And why it's still relevant.
Yeah,
even in this sort of AI-driven world.
Yeah, absolutely. So SEO stands for search engine optimization.
Okay.
And basically, it's a digital marketing strategy that focuses on boosting your website's visibility in organic search results.
Okay, so making sure that you pop up.
Exactly.
When somebody searches for something.
Yeah, when people search for things related to your business.
Right. I think that driving any traffic is trying to qualify traffic.
Right.
Right, because you want people to actually turn into customers or whatever your conversion goal is.
Yeah, it's all about getting the right people to your website.
Right. So how do these search engines, work?
Right.
Like how do they decide? Like, okay.
So basically, search engines work by crawling, indexing, and ranking websites. So crawling is like sending out these little digital robots that we call crawlers or spiders, and they go through the internet following links from page to page, collecting information about each page, like the content, the keywords, the structure, and so on.
So they're basically creating this giant index.
Exactly. They're indexing all of this information so that when somebody searches for something, they can go through that index and find the most relevant results.
Okay. And then these algorithms are the ones that kind of decide, like, based on all this data they collected, like who gets seen and who doesn't.
Right. The algorithms are what determine the ranking of the pages.
Okay, so these algorithms are very important.
Very important. And Google in particular, they update their algorithms all the time to make sure that they're providing the best results to users. And
we've heard about, these major updates like Panda and Penguin. Right? Like, what were those all about?
So those were major algorithm updates that Google rolled out. And they really shook up the SEO world because they were targeting websites that were engaging in some shady practices.
Like what kind of shady practices?
So, for example, Panda was targeting websites that had thin content, duplicate content, or content that was just stuck with keywords.
Like
the quality of a content.
Exactly. And Penguin went after websites that were trying to manipulate their rankings through unnatural link practices.
Okay.
Like buying links or participating in link schemes.
So you couldn't just pay somebody to give you a bunch of links to boost your ranking.
Exactly. So these updates were all about rewarding websites that were doing things the right way, that had high quality content and natural backlinks.
Right. So it was like this crackdown to kind of, make sure that everybody's playing fair.
Level the playing field.
Yeah.
And make sure that the best websites were the ones that were ranking at the top.
And these were just the beginning, right? Because Google has continued to kind of refine their algorithms and make them more sophisticated.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And now with AI coming into the picture, it's a whole new ballgame.
Right. And we'll get into that. But I think first, it's important to kind of understand the fundamentals
of SEO and Heroes ranking. Kind of breaks it down into three core elements, which are on page, off page, and technical SEO.
Yeah, those are the three pillars of SEO.
Right. So on page is like
on-page SEO is all about optimizing the elements within your website. So that's things like your title tags, your meta descriptions, your content itself, your headings, your images, the URL structure.
So it's all the stuff that's actually on your website.
Exactly.
That you can control.
Right. Off-page SEO, on the other hand, is about activities that are done outside of your website to build authority and trust.
So that's like
things like link building, social media brand, mentions influencer marketing.
Okay, so it's like getting other people to kind of vouch for you
Exactly.
and say, hey, this website's good.
Yeah, building those relationships and getting those signals from other websites.
And like technical SEO.
Technical SEO is all about improving the infrastructure of your website
Okay,
so that it can be crawled and indexed more effectively.
so that's like,
So that's things like site speed, mobile friendliness, security, URL structure.
it's all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it's the stuff that users might not necessarily see, but it's really important for search engines.
Okay, so we've got these three pillars
Right.
of SEO and the heart of it all. Keywords.
Yeah, keywords are basically the foundation of SEO
Okay.
because they're what people type into search engines.
Right, so it's like the bridge between what people are searching for and what you're,
Exactly. They connect your content with your target audience.
right, so keyword research is really important.
Very important.
And that's like trying to understand.
It's about understanding your audience, what language they use, what their needs are, and what they're actually searching for online.
Right, so it's not just like throwing a bunch of words on a page.
Yeah,
It's about actually like
it's about understanding
understanding.
the intent behind those searches.
Okay, so
So when you're doing keyword research, you need to identify high value keywords, analyze your competitors, use keyword research tools, and really understand the search intent behind those keywords.
and there are tools that help you with this, like
Yeah, there are some great tools out there like Google Keyword Planner,
Okay.
SEMrush Direct.
right.
All of these tools can help you with your keyword research.
Okay, and what is search intent?
So search intent is basically the purpose behind a search query. It's about understanding what the user is really looking for, even if their search terms aren't very specific.
Okay, so for example,
Yeah, so let's say someone searches for app. Are they looking for information about the fruit,
right, or
the company, or maybe a recipe for apple pie?
right, so it's like understanding
You need to understand the context
context.
behind that search
Okay.
so that you can create content that actually aligns with what the user is looking for.
Okay, so how do you figure that out?
Well, there are a few ways.
Oh, okay.
You can analyze the search results themselves. Okay.
You can look for patterns in user behavior.
Okay.
And you can use keyword research tools to help you categorize keywords based on their intent.
Okay.
So for example, if someone is searching for buy apple pie online,
Right.
they're clearly looking to make a purchase.
Right.
So you wouldn't want to show them a page about the history of apple pie.
Right. You'd want to show them like a bakery or something.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're aligning your content
Right.
with the users.
With the user's goal.
Okay.
Whether that's finding information, buying a product, or simply navigating to a particular website.
So let's say we've done our keyword research. We understand search intent.
Right.
We're ready to kind of create some content.
Yes.
What are some of the things that we should keep in mind when we're optimizing that content for SEO?
So when it comes to creating content for SEO, the most important thing is to create high quality, relevant, and valuable content that truly answers user queries.
Okay. So it's not just about like stuffing keywords in there.
No keyword stuffing.
It's about providing genuine value to your audience,
All right.
answering their questions, solving their problems, and giving them the information they're looking for.
So how do we create that kind of content?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure that your content is well structured and easy to read.
Okay.
Use clear and concise language. Break up your text with headings, subheadings, bullet points, images.
So it's kind of like making it scannable.
Exactly. People tend to skim and scan online.
Right.
So you want to make it easy for them to find the information they're looking for. And of course, you want to use your keywords strategically, but don't overdo it.
No keyword stuffing.
No keyword stuffing.
Yeah.
Google will penalize you for that. Use your keywords naturally throughout your content
Okay.
and make sure to include them in your page title headings and meta description.
So it's kind of like a balancing act
It is.
between using the keywords enough and not too much.
Exactly. You also want to make sure that your content is properly structured using headings and subheadings.
Okay. And why is that important?
This helps both readers and search engines understand the hierarchy and relevance of your content.
Okay, so the H1 tag is like the most important.
The H1 tag is your main heading,
Okay.
and then you use H2, H3, and so on for subheadings.
Okay, so it's like creating this hierarchy.
Right.
Okay.
And internal linking is also very important.
What's internal linking?
Internal linking is the practice of linking to other relevant pages within your own website.
Okay.
This helps users navigate your site, discover more of your content, and it also helps search engines understand the relationship between your pages.
Okay, so it's kind of like creating these paths.
Exactly.
for your website.
It's like creating a web of content that's all interlinked,
Right.
and it's all relevant to each other.
Okay, and what about images?
Images are also important for SEO.
Okay.
You want to make sure that you're using descriptive alt text for your images.
And what is alt text?
Alt text is a short description of the image that screen readers use to describe images to visually impaired users.
Okay.
It also helps search engines understand what the image is about.
Okay.
So it's a win-win.
Right. It's good for accessibility.
Yeah.
And for SEO.
Exactly.
Okay. So now we've created all this awesome content.
Right.
We've optimized it.
Yes.
How do we actually know if it's working?
Right. So that's where SEO tools and metrics come in.
Okay.
These tools can help you track your progress, identify areas for improvement, and make data-driven decisions.
Okay. So what are some of the tools?
So two of the most important tools for SEO are Google Analytics and Google Search Console.
So both free.
Yes, they're both free.
Okay. So what is Google Analytics?
Google Analytics is like a treasure trove of data about your website visitors.
Okay.
It tells you where your traffic is coming from, what pages they're visiting, how long they're staying on your site, and so much more.
So it's really about like understanding user behavior.
Exactly.
Okay. And Search Console.
Google Search Console gives you insight into how Google views your website.
Okay.
It shows you which keywords you're ranking, for how many impressions and clicks you're getting, and if there are any technical issues that might be affecting your rankings.
It's like getting feedback directly from Google.
Exactly. It's an incredibly valuable tool.
Okay. And then are there other paid tools?
Yeah, there are also some great paid tools out there like SEMrush and Moz.
And those offer more like,
Those offer more in-depth analysis.
Oh,
of
you-
features.
okay, so those are kind of like,
Yeah, if you're serious about SEO,
yeah.
and to take it to the next level.
So what are some of the metrics that we should be tracking?
So some of the key metrics to keep an eye on are organic traffic,
Okay.
keyword position,
Okay.
bounce rate,
Okay.
backlinks. Backlinks are links from other websites to your site.
Okay.
And they're a major factor in determining your site's authority and trustworthiness in the eyes of search engines.
Okay.
And finally, conversions.
And those are like,
Conversions are the actions that you want visitors to take on your website.
right, so like making a purchase,
Exactly.
signing up for a newsletter.
Right. Okay. So those are the ultimate goal of SEO.
Right. It's driving business results.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a lot of information.
It is.
Kind of like the basics of SEO.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
And does Kiros Herrero have like any specific advice or practical examples in his presentation?
He does. He actually uses a really interesting example of a fictional website called decoratukasa.es,
Okay.
which translates to decorate your house.
Okay.
And he uses this example to illustrate some key SEO principles in a real world setting.
Okay, so let's get into that.
Let's do it. So with this decoratukasa.es example, he really stresses the importance of website structure.
Okay.
Having a clear, logical structure for both users and for search engines.
Right. So like how would you structure a website like that?
Well, he suggests, you would have your main categories like living room furniture, dining room furniture, and then within those categories, you'd have subcategories like sofas, dining chairs.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, those drop-down menus you see on websites.
Exactly. And this is reflected in the URL structure as well.
Okay.
So for example, a page about blue velvet sofas might have a URL like decoratukasa.es, living room furniture sofas, blue velvet sofa.
So it's very clear like where you are at the site.
Right. Page at the top.
Okay. And then for each of those pages, like how would you optimize them?
So that's where on-page optimization comes in.
Okay.
So let's say we're looking at the living room furniture page.
Okay.
He suggests using a title tag like living room furniture to decorate your home.
Okay. So it's concise, descriptive,
Yeah.
includes relevant keywords.
Exactly. And then for the H1 tag, you would just use something like living room furniture.
Okay.
Then use H2 tags to break down the content into those subcategories that we have.
Okay.
Sofas, TV stand.
Right. And then you can even go deeper with H3 tags.
Exactly. You could have 2-seater sofas, 3-seater sofas.
Right. Okay. So it's creating this hierarchy.
Right. Nice clear hierarchy for both users and search engines.
And of course, using keywords throughout the text.
Yes. But naturally, of course,
Right.
no keyword stuffing.
And then images as well.
Yes. Always use descriptive alt text for your images.
And what was alt text again?
Alt text is that short description of the image.
Okay.
That helps visually impaired users understand what the image is about.
Okay.
And it also helps search engines.
Okay. So it's good for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. So this Decoratukasa.es example is really helpful.
It really helps to see how these SEO principles can be applied in a real world setting.
Okay.
And Hiro Serrero actually suggests doing a little practical exercise where you select the 5 most important pages on your website and optimize them for on-page SEO.
Okay, so like what would be the 5 most important pages for like that go to concept doc?
Well, you might choose something like, living room furniture, dining room furniture,
Right.
sofas, dining chairs, maybe a page highlighting a special collection of promotions.
Okay.
And for each of those pages, you would go through and optimize the URL, the title tag for each one tag.
All those things we just did.
Exactly.
Okay, and I guess the content as well.
Yes, of course, the content is key.
Right.
You want to make sure that the content is high quality, informative, engaging, and really provides value to the user.
Okay, so it's kind of like, you're doing this deep dive on each of these important pages
Exactly.
and really optimizing them.
Yeah, and he suggests that you provide a brief justification for why you chose each page and how the keywords you select reflect the objectives of that page.
Okay, so it's really about thinking strategically.
Exactly. It's about having a clear plan and a purpose for each page.
Right, okay, so that's a good little exercise for our listeners to try out.
It's a great way to put these concepts into practice and really start seeing some results.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about, like on-page optimization.
Right.
But what about, off-page and technical SEO?
Right. So those are equally important.
Okay.
And we could spend hours talking about each of them.
Right.
But just to give you a quick overview, off-page SEO, as we mentioned, is all about building that authority and truth. So that's getting other websites to link back to you, engaging on social media, building your brand reputation.
Okay.
And technical SEO is all about making sure that your website is technically sound. So that's things like site speed, mobile friendliness, security.
And all that behind the scenes stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's kind of like a three-pronged approach.
It is. You need all 3 elements working together to really succeed with SEO.
We're not going to get into like the specifics of those, but
But just know that they're important.
just know that they're.
Yeah.
Now I do want to talk about AI
Okay.
because that's kind of like the big, elephant in the room,
It's changing everything.
right? And specifically Google's Gemini.
Right.
Like, how is that impacting SEO?
So Gemini, with its advanced AI capabilities, is really changing the way that Google understands and processes search queries.
Okay,
It's able to understand natural language and search intent.
right. So it's not just about keywords anymore.
Right. It's about the meaning
Right.
and the context behind those keywords.
Okay,
So this means that SEO is becoming even more important
okay,
because you need to make sure that your content is aligned with what users are actually searching for
Right.
and that it provides the answers and solutions that they're looking for.
so you really have to understand your audience.
More than ever.
Okay,
And you need to create content that's not only informative, but also engaging and conversational.
okay, because people are searching in a more conversational way.
Exactly. They're asking questions, they're having conversations with their devices.
Right.
So your content needs to reflect that.
So it's not just about like waiting for a robot. And this is where things like, featured snippets come in
Right.
and voice search optimization.
Exactly. The featured snippets, those are those little boxes of information
Right, that pop up at the top.
that appear at the top of the search result.
Right,
And if you can optimize your content to appear in a featured snippet,
yeah,
you can dramatically increase your visibility and your click-through rate
you're like right there
right there at the top.
at the top, yeah.
And with voice search becoming more and more popular,
Right.
you need to think about how people are asking questions verbally
Right.
and optimize your content accordingly.
So it's not just about like targeting a keyword like best pizza recipe.
Right.
It's about targeting like a more conversational phrase.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
Google, what's the best pizza recipe?
Right.
So it's all about adapting to these changes and understanding how people are searching.
It's a lot more nuanced
It
than
is.
it used to be,
Yeah.
but it's still,
It's still about providing value to the user, answering their questions.
and understanding their intent.
Exactly.
Okay.
So don't get overwhelmed.
Right.
Just start with the basics.
Okay.
Focus on creating great content and gradually expand your knowledge and skills over time.
I think Heroes Ferrero has provided all those resources.
Right.
Like, this is a great place to start.
Definitely.
So speaking of starting, like, what are some of the things that, someone who's just starting out with SEO?
Okay.
Like, what are some of the low-hanging fruit that they can focus on?
So one of the most important things for beginners is to make sure that their website has a clear and logical structure,
We talked about,
which we talked about, and that it's optimized for mobile devices.
because everybody's on their phone.
Exactly. So having a mobile-friendly website is crucial. Another simple but effective tip is to claim your Google My Business listing. So your Google My Business listing is basically your online business listing. It helps you appear in local search results,
Okay.
and it provides valuable information about your business.
So like your address and phone number.
Exactly, your address, your phone number,
Yeah.
your hours of operation, customer reviews. So it's a really important tool for local businesses.
Okay, so claiming that's like one of the first things you do.
Definitely.
Okay.
Another low-hanging fruit is to focus on building high-quality back.
And those are the links to other websites.
Exactly. So you want to create content that's link-worthy,
Okay.
and reach out to other websites in your niche and build relationships with them.
Okay, so it's not just about like, begging people for links.
No, it's about creating valuable content
Right.
that people want to link to.
Okay.
And then another important tip is to use social media to your advantage. Share your content on social media, engage with your followers, build relationships with influencers.
Right.
Social media can be a really powerful tool for driving traffic to your website.
Okay, so it's all kind of interconnected.
It is, it's all part of this bigger picture
Okay.
of building your online presence.
Okay. And does Kuros Herrero have any other advice for beginners?
He does. He really emphasizes the importance of being patient.
Okay.
SEO takes time. It's not a quick fix. You need to be consistent with your efforts, and you need to be willing to learn and adapt as you go.
The marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Right.
Try new things, track your results, and see what works best for you.
Okay, so it's a lot of trial and error.
It can be, but that's part of the fun.
Right.
It's all about learning and growing.
Right. Staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly, because the world of SEO is constantly changing.
Right, so we have to change with it. Yeah, well, this has been a great kind of overview
It has.
of SEO basics.
Yeah, we've grown.
Yeah, but I feel like there's still so much more to learn.
Oh, there's always more to learn.
Right.
But this is a great starting point.
Right. And Kuros Herrero's presentation has been really helpful.
It has. He's provided a lot of valuable insights.
Yeah.
And practical tips.
Thank you to him for that. And I guess we'll move on to the next part.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on these, SEO basics.
Yeah.
From choosing the right keywords and creating that, killer content,
Right.
to making sure the technical side is optimized and that it's, a user-friendly experience.
Right.
It's a lot, but Kuros Herrero's presentation has been like a really good guide for us.
Yeah, it has. And what I really like about his approach is that he doesn't just focus on, the technical tricks. He really emphasizes the importance of serving your audience.
Yeah, like creating a website that people actually want to visit.
Exactly.
And not just one that, ranks high.
Right. It's about attracting the right kind of traffic.
Right. So people who are actually interested in what you offer.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're not just chasing numbers.
Right.
We're looking for those, valuable connections.
Exactly.
Okay. Now I do want to talk a little bit about social media.
Okay.
Because, it feels like social media is its own beast.
It is.
But it must connect to SEO somehow, right?
It does. It definitely does.
Okay.
While social media signals might not directly impact search rankings,
Okay.
they play a huge role in building brand awareness, driving traffic to your website,
Okay.
and establishing your authority in your niche.
So it's still important to have like a strong social media presence.
Very important. Think of it as a way to amplify your SEO efforts.
Okay.
You can share your content, connect with potential customers, build relationships with other businesses and influencers.
Okay.
And don't forget about managing your online reputation.
Right. Okay, so it all kind of ties together.
It does. It's all part of this bigger picture.
Okay, cool. So I think we, really peeled back the layers of SEO here,
I think so.
and we've seen how all the pieces work together.
Yeah, and hopefully our listeners are feeling empowered to, start implementing some of these strategies and
Right.
make it, work for them.
Right. And I guess the final takeaway is that SEO is constantly evolving.
It is.
First, we're really emphasize that.
Yes.
So we need to stay informed. We need to experiment. We need to adapt our strategies, as the digital landscape changes.
Yeah, what works today might not work tomorrow.
Right.
So the key is to stay curious, keep learning, and always be open to trying new approaches.
So it's not like you can just learn the rules
Right.
and then you're good to go.
You have to keep learning.
Right.
You have to keep adapting.
It's like a living, breathing thing.
It is.
Right.
It's a constantly evolving process.
So to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to dive in, experiment, and never stop learning.
Yeah. The rewards are definitely worth the effort.
Right. You might even have fun along the way.
You might.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us as we explore the fascinating world of SEO with David Quiroz-Herrera.
Thanks for having me.
And we hope you learned a lot and are feeling inspired to optimize your online presence. So happy optimizing.